Hey everybody. You sure the stream is active?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
Showing that we're live.
All right. Sounds like we're live. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Gitty Gang Show. I'm doing a live intro today because we're talking all about the Reso Plate license plate resonator kit. Launched today, just today, made available. Sue Messias already got the first one. Thank you, Sue. Well, it's a Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Say it's a Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. Well, all you need is a sticker box and some strings. Kit doesn't hurt though. I say all you need is a sticker box and some strings. Well, you put them all together, you know they're gonna ring. Well, we come to you live every Friday afternoon at 2. We come to you live every Friday afternoon at 2. And if we don't see ya, we don't know what we'll do. But it's the Gitty Gang Show. Gitty Gang Show, say the Gitty Gang Show. Gitty Gang Show is the Gitty Gang Show. Say the Gitty Gang Show. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Well, all right. Well, welcome on this fine Friday afternoon. I'm of course Ben Gitty. My cohort, my compatriot, my co-host, Mr. Glenn Watt, still on vacation. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, Glenn will be back with us next week, a week from today, and by God, we're ready for him to be back. Ain't gonna lie. I know all of you love Watt Corner. I love Watt Corner. And been missing it. So it will be back. So today, got a few interesting things for you. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have the, see if I can get it here. Try to get the comments pulled up so I can see what everybody's saying and talking out there. I saw before my little screen here went dead, I saw Michael Capato out there and some others. There we go. All right, very good. So thank you for joining us today. Brett Olson has got Ma Gitty out there, Janet Baker Hughes, William Sneed, Dave Gatton, Gary Hansen. It's always good to see all of you out there joining us. Today, I do say us because, of course, we've got Mr. Nick Lanciano over there behind the producer's desk, frantically mashing buttons at the moment because I threw him a curveball with about 8 minutes to go before the show. A whole folder full of images to be set up as a slideshow montage during a song I'm going to be doing a little later in the show. Our Nick giving me the thumbs up. He loves last minute surprise bombs like that. Thrives on them.
I do.
He can't help himself. Well, thank you, Nick. The photos are for a song I'm going to do later that I kind of finished up this week. A tribute to my friend Charlie Boyle. You've heard me talking about Charlie these last few weeks, and even before. A real inspiration and force for good, in my life at least, and I know of many others as well. But our primary focus in the first half of today's show is this Rezo plate, license plate resonator guitar. Rezo plate because it is an acoustic resonator, inspired by the classic resonators made by National and the Dobro company and all of that, but of course using a license plate as the resonator, as the soundboard metal resonator body. Of course, people have been building conventional resonator guitars for many years using spun cones and stamped cones and all sorts of things, and we produce and sell some here at CB Gitty. But there's always been something about the license plate, hasn't there? For homemade instrument builders, for cigar box guitar builders, license plates have always had a special appeal. Of course, you're repurposing something used, cast off. Most of us who have owned and driven cars have a couple of license plates hanging around somewhere. Maybe we got some from our dad or our grandpa or somebody like that handed down. There's, of course, thousands of different styles. Every state has its own design. Every state has had many designs over the last 110 years or so since they started being used. So the license plate is an awesome addition to a homemade instrument. Has the great bonus of sounding awesome. This guitar with a license plate on it, of course I don't, well, here we go. I've got one of our Tupelo tenor kits here, and it's very similar kit. The construction methods are very much the same. The amount of time it takes to build is the same. The Tupelo tenor, of course, has that plywood top, not quite in tune. Has a nice sound to it, a nice acoustic, nice acoustic tone to it. Of course, the mountain tenor, which is fully acoustic, has an even fuller tone because it doesn't have that magnetic pickup hanging in the soundboard there and deadening it a little bit. But something about this license plate, man, it really rings out. It has just enough of that metallic, Dobro-esque. Gotta be careful using the term Dobro because it's still trademarked, so pretend I'm putting a trademark on that. Dobro National Resonator, that metal sound really comes out. Now this is an aluminum license plate from the state of Mississippi. By default, this kit, which listed today, you can get one for $109. Let's call it $110. Includes the license plate, all the bits, the full how-to guide, fully revised and carefully checked by me myself. You can get it for $110, and that is including the license plate. If you've got your own license plate, you uncheck the little box and it knocks $5 off the cost. You can get it for $105. I think I saw Michael Capato, somebody maybe asking how big the box is. It's 12. The license plate, a standard license plate, is 6 by 12. So this box is 12.5 by 8.5, because I think I saw Tim Henderson out there suggested, hey, make the box a little bigger so you can have sound holes in there. And of course, I tried that out, and by God, it worked pretty darn good. Gonna start giving people the impression that's the only song I know how to play if I keep. But it's got great tone, a nice banjo-style bridge on there. The action, nice and low. Now, as you know, well, you may not know, but I'll tell you. These Mississippi plates, they say birthplace of America's music. They celebrate the creation of the blues, which of course is attributed to Mississippi. That's why this state license plate of Mississippi is claiming that. Now, they have a nice flat space right here in the middle where the bridge goes, because this is a 23-inch scale. Some license plates do not have a nice flat spot there in the middle. There are raised letters or numbers in the way. However, with this style, banjo style bridge, You can see there. You can file down 1 foot to all 3 feet. You can file that down as needed to get it to sit evenly over whatever kind of license plates you have. Somebody asked about the box design. It is specially designed. We kind of had to take the basic idea that we've been using for the tenor kits and tweak it with the bracing. There's bracing that gets glued onto the soundboard. I wouldn't call it more advanced in terms of construction, but it did take a good bit of figuring to get it right, which is part of why the price is just a little bit higher, to cover all that time and R&D effort that went into it. Marty asked if we're going to be selling the box on its own. Hadn't even really thought of that, Marty. I tell you, been focused on just getting the kit to market, to be honest. It takes a bit of doing.
I said if demand ever gets high enough, maybe, but for now.
Yeah, I mean, but then, you know, because we pre-cut the boxes with the side panels with the neck insert holes, and there's not really a strong reason we couldn't. So yeah, like Nick says, if people keep asking, then we might just do it. So yeah, your own license plate. Now, older license plates, some of them were made from steel, of course. The more modern ones generally aluminum. This is designed for a more modern standard license plate, 6x12. So if you've got one of the older mini ones or weirdly shaped ones, using it on this kit might not be a good idea. But if you don't want to worry about any of that, we'll send you one of these cool Mississippi plates, and you can do it right up with that. I'm very excited about this kit. Sent one down, the first prototype. Sue Messias got the first retail one. The first prototype went out to Shane on Monday. Is Shane chimed in out there yet?
I haven't
He's probably, I ain't gonna lie, he's probably out in his woodshed putting this kit together. If he's not out scouring York, Pennsylvania for pipe organs. I don't know if you saw Shane's latest email. Somebody offered him a pipe organ disassembled for free if he'd come get it. So what did Shane Spiel do? He went and got it. And no idea what the heck he's gonna do with it all, but you know Shane, he tends to have a few plans bouncing around in that fuzzy head of his, so he might be out in the shed putting together his Rezo plate guitar right now. You know, the license plate, one of the reasons it appeals, I think, is that it's kind of a piece of Americana imagery. You know, if you think of when the car kind of took over from the train and the trolley as the means of people getting about, the license plate there on that front of the car, that was kind of your ticket to ride. Once you had your car registered and running, ideally, you know, off you could go. The whole traveling era, when people really started to move around the country, sometimes not entirely voluntarily, like during the Dust Bowl years, there in Oklahoma and Nebraska and the Dust Bowl area, they'd pile it all on the old Tin Lizzie and head for California, often with not entirely great results. But and then later, you know, into the 40s, the post-war era, people really started traveling around. Into the 50s, the beatnik era. If you've ever read Jack Kerouac's On the Road, you know, he talks about just whipping back and forth across the country on a whim, often helped along by some illicit substances. But, you know, the license plate kind of represents all of that. The moving, the rambling, the roving nature of Americans who have a hard time sticking around in one place for all that long throughout our history. And of course, there's some other imagery that goes along with the license plate. I mean, growing up, the kind of, I don't want to say myth, but the legend, of course, helped along by Bugs Bunny cartoons and such, was that prisoners in prisons were stamping out, breaking rocks and stamping license plates. And in some cases, a lot of cases, they actually did. Prison labor was used to stamp license plates. So it pulls some of that in, you know, prison songs, blues songs, country and western. You know, the resonator sound, the dobro sound in country and bluegrass. A lot of them songs are about roving and rambling. So I think it's just an awesome thing. I'm very happy about this kit. Been wanting to get this on the market a long time. But anyway, as some of our best fans, Louise Josephine, yes, absolutely, we do ship to the UK. We even have free shipping to the UK for orders for larger orders. You can find details on the CB Gitty website. Unfortunately, you know, shipping internationally is not cheap. It's just an unavoidable reality. It's expensive and getting expensiver, or something along those lines. So we do our best. But anyway, as our good fans are apt to point out, when I talk too much, generally gently encourage me to shut up and play something. And I think we're about to that point of the show. Nick's nodding, yep. So here's a song that sums up a lot of what I was just babbling on about. And I do not have the words in front of me, so we'll see how this goes from the old brain pan here. It's Roger Miller's King of the Road. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents, no phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys, an 8x12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. Boxcar midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out shirt and shoes, I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found, short but not to peg around. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. I make music when I can, traveling across the land, freight yards and loading docks. I made my guitar from a cigar box, but when I have a little booze, well, you know that I can sing the blues. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, all of their children and all of their names, every handout in every town, every lock that ain't locked when no one's around. When I sing trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents, no phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys, an 8x12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. King of the road. King of the road. Yeah, that's a good old car driving, traveling song right there, if I ever heard one. A little bit of a hobo-esque feel to that old song too. That third verse there about made my guitar from a cigar box, I added that one in myself. Old Roger didn't write that one. So that's one song I'm going to do on this. I think we're going to take a short break here and share another video with you from Reverend Todd of Primitive Guitars. If you were watching last week, Todd was good enough to send out a lovely shout out to Mrs. Gitty, Mrs. Gitty Baker there, who makes the handmade soaps and things, praising the box balm that he has. I don't have any in here anymore, but Todd likes it for a beard balm as well, so it's good for multiple things. Well, here he is sharing some of his thoughts of for our necks. CB Gitty pre-made cigar box guitar necks. Have a look.
Gitty Gang and Cigar Box Nation. My name is Rev Todd. I build primitive guitars. I'm going to go over necks really quick. Here we go. I use solid hickory. That just happens to be the wood I like. This is a 1 by 2 by 6, which actually equals 1.5 by, I don't know, 3/4 or whatever, and then by however long. But anyways, that's what I do. That's what I buy. I don't have a lot of tools, so this is the way I figured out how to do it. I basically chop a neck, or chop a piece of wood, chop another piece of wood, stick them together and glue them. How I figure out the distance for that actually is with the Gitty stuff. So I start initially by figuring out how to cut this piece of wood right here. I put up my little template that Gitty makes. It's the little 7-piece headstock drilling templates. I like them. You can just measure them out, everything like that. That's fine if you can't afford it or whatever. But I like it because it's plastic or acrylic or whatever it is. I like it's nice, blah, blah, blah. Bing. Then I take actually their, I'm going to make this a 20-inch. So this is their 20-inch fret guide. Basically put it up. I like my fretboard to come over the end of the neck. So I actually figure out where that little last fret's going to be and kind of put it in that area and boom, up, cut that piece. This piece down here, how I actually cut it, is just longer than most of the boxes I have. If you cut it longer than that, you can figure out where you cut it afterwards. Basically, take the 2 pieces of wood, I glue them together. Pretty darn simple. Piece of wood that I did the headstock and then figured out how far down from there, glue them together. The thing I forgot to tell you is that I take this piece here and I cut it at a 45-degree angle, 45 degrees. Once you shape that out, she looks beautiful, she's great. That glue pretty much always holds, you're gonna be good. I do about 3 to 4 inches as far as the heel goes, you know, from here to here. That's the part you're gonna see. If you looked at a finished guitar, here's the heel, comes out, there's, you know, about the end. In this case, what I did is actually put a screw right through. That screw goes down pretty much almost to the very end to hit the fretboard there. Just one little extra thing, just to keep the glue a little bit better. Okay, so here you go. Neck. Figure out how long you want it to be, you know, with your headstock. Figure out your scale you're gonna do. Like I said, in my case, I like to have the last fret right about right there. Figure out what you want to do. You can put fretboard on top of there, make a stick over, cut it off to where you want to do. I'm going to go into back angle and the rest of the stuff later on, but you can use this neck to do a lot of different things. So figure something out, have some fun. Rev Todd from Primitive Guitars. Thanks for watching.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Todd. I was a little bit off there. He wasn't talking about CB Gitty necks at all. He was talking about how he makes his, and that's perfectly fine. Glad to see it. I'd like to welcome our good friend Bart Blankenship out there and advise him that I concur with Marty as to how to fix his cheap single coil pickup problem is get yourself a wicked baka and all your wildest dreams will come true. Alright, here we go. Here's another car song by one of my favorite singers of all time. Actually, my dad's birthday was yesterday. The old man turning 60, good lord, 62 I think. One of his favorite performers, and mine as well, actually he turned me on to him, is Johnny Cash, the Man in Black. And this is one of Johnny's songs that is spoken as much as it is sung. It's not A Boy Named Sue. I did that one back around Father's Day, I think. This is One Piece at a Time, and it ties in with the license plate, Rezo plate kit here. It is car themed. Kind of a DIY approach to getting your automobile is to build it yourself through perhaps a little bit of sticky finger work at the GM factory. So I'm going to give this a try, and I was telling Nick during that video, if I actually remember all of these words, it's going to be a minor miracle. I'd like to say hello to Rusty Taylor out there. His third annual International Georgia Cigar Box Guitar Fest coming up very soon. Sent him the sponsorship money just earlier this week. Tomorrow, August 3rd, is of course the Ozark Cigar Box Guitar Festival. I think their third year. Sent them their sponsorship money this week. So I've been just sponsoring the heck out of everybody. Gotta speed that up a little bit. It'll take forever. This is not a short song. Well, he left Kentucky back in '49, went to Detroit working on the assembly line, and that's when they hadn't put wheels on Cadillacs. Well, every day I'd watch them beauties roll by, and sometimes I'd turn my head and cry, 'cause I always wanted me one that was long and black. So the very next day when I punched in with my big lunchbox and my help from a friend, that day was a lunchbox. Well, look, I think I skipped a verse, didn't I? Let's start that. One day I devised myself a plan that should be the envy of most any man. I'd sneak it out of there in the lunchbox in my hand. Well, getting caught, it meant getting fired, but I figured have it all by the time I retired. I'd have me a car worth at least $100 grand. I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I roll through your town. Gonna ride around in style, and I'm gonna drive everybody wild. Gonna have the only one there is around. Here we go, this is one I tried earlier. So the very next day when I punched in with my big lunchbox and the help from my friends, I left that day with a lunchbox full of gears. Well, I've never considered myself a thief, but GM wouldn't miss just one little piece, especially if I strung it out over several years. So the first day I got me a fuel pump, and the next day I got me an engine and a trunk, and then I got me a transmission and all the chrome. Well, the little things I'd fit in my big lunchbox, like nuts and bolts and all four shocks, but the big stuff we snuck out in my buddy's mobile home. Well, up to now my plan went alright until I tried to put her all together one night, and that's when I noticed that something was definitely wrong. 'Cause the transmission was a 53 and the motor turned out to be a 73, and when I tried to put in the bolts, all the holes were wrong. But we we drilled it out so that it would fit, and with a little bit of help from an adapter kit, had that engine running just like a song. Now the headlights, there was another sight. We had two on the left and one on the right, and when I pulled out the switch, by God, all three of them come on. And the back end looked kind of funny too, but we put her together, and when we got through, well, that's when I noticed we only had one tail fin. And about that time my wife walked out, and I could see in her eyes she had her doubts, but she opened the door and said, "Honey, take me for a spin." So we headed her right on down Main Drag and took her right uptown, oh boy, and everybody was laughing for blocks around. But up there at the courthouse, they didn't laugh, 'cause to type it up, it took the whole staff, and when they got through, the title weighed 60 pounds. I got it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I come through your town. Gonna ride around in style, and I'm gonna drive everybody wild, 'cause I'll have the only one there is around. Red Ryder, this is the Cottonmouth, and negatory on the cost of this machine there, Red Ryder. You might say I went right up to the factory and picked it up. It's cheaper that way. What model is it? Well, it's a 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 automobile. Yeah, it's a 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70 automobile. Woo! that was a solid 95% of all of the words of that song in a rough facsimile of the correct order. So thank you for playing along, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Folks on YouTube loved it. Just to let you know.
Hey, YouTube. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Actually, isn't the video quality higher on YouTube?
That is correct.
We're full 1080p on YouTube. Facebook only allows 720. I actually upped the bandwidth of the fiber optic connection we have here at CB Gitty specifically so we could do that, and so that Google Drive worked faster. Multiple reasons. So Shane wants "I've Been Everywhere," another Johnny Cash song with a lot of words. Good Lord. It's the one, I actually started trying to learn that once, and I got the first verse down. It's the one where I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Buddha, you know, like place names, just long place names. I got all through the first verse in half of the second before life intervened and it fell away. But someday, I might actually learn that. You know who does know that song just cold and can bang it out is Him for Her, the band Him for Her, Lucy Tite and Wayne Waxing. She can belt that thing out. I think she sings it. I'm not sure if Wayne does, but man, they got it down cold. Anyway, that is the Rezo Plate kit. Shane, were you out in the shed starting on yours yet? It goes together fast. Once you get the box glued up, from that, depending on whether you put any finish on it, because of course we ship it. This is another one of our blank slate kits where it ships unfinished. You know, the wood surface is unfinished. You can stain it, paint it. I love seeing the videos or the photos and some videos of what people do with these box kits, these instrument kits, the things that you've done with G basses and the mountain tenors and the Tupelo tenors. They're doing sunburst finishes, all sorts. Somebody just posted a photo of a hand-painted box. I think that was your Tin Pan Alley kit, Nick, that his wife had hand-painted. It looked awesome. I'm sure maybe next week's show can be one giant walk corner where Glenn catches up with all of the awesome stuff that's happened while he's been out.
Surprise, Glenn.
Surprise! We voted and you lost, so you're in.
You are the Water Slink. That was bad. Don't ever.
So yeah, get yourself one of these. Try to keep the price nice and as reasonable as possible for a item where, you know, we cut all of the boxes here in house, hand fretted fretboards, you know, it's all done here. You know, aside from some of the hardware comes from elsewhere, but you know, it's a made in the USA kit. I think. I'd like to say hello. I saw Lisa Sheehy. I can never remember whether it's Margaret Mary or Mary Margaret, but welcome, Lisa. And Robert Ortiz out there. Good to see some friendly names popping up. So that was the lighthearted part of the show. Now we get into the nothing heavy, but a little bit heavier part of the show. Talking once again, as I have in the past, about my friend Charlie Boyle, the friend of a number of people who tune into the show from this area. And after Charlie passed a few weeks ago, I decided he needed a song, and I started sketching down some ideas and phrases and working out some, you know, thinking about melodies and such. So this week I got her just about nailed down. I'm going to try to sing it here for you. And while I do the last minute project I threw at Nick of a photo slideshow, these are some photos, most of which were taken at Charlie's greenhouse in Dover, New Hampshire, where for so many years so many people would gather to spend time with Charlie, tell stories and jokes and sing songs, watch Boston Red Sox and New England Patriot games and Bruins games and Celtics games. He was an ardent supporter of Boston athletics, our Charlie was. So This song is my attempt to try to sum up all of my feelings about the man himself. Well, I'll tell you of a friend of mine about his greenhouse too. He was the kind of man that you'd know if you knew. Beloved by many in these parts, he was ornery, kind and loyal. He was a special friend of mine, Cutter Charlie Boyle. Now Charlie lived his days out by his own set of rules. Worked hard all through his life, didn't waste much time on fools. And those that came to love him well, we'd stop down now and then to drink a few beers, shoot the breeze with our friend. God love you, Charlie boy. You lived by your own rules, your fingers in the soil. And you welcomed us into your home through good times and bad. We never will forget you, the best friend we've ever had. Well, the greenhouse was filled with stories, jokes, and songs. You knew that you'd be welcome if you wanted to sing along. Through the dust, dirt, and wood smoke, we'd greet our friends and kin. It was a special kind of place, like nowhere you've ever been. Well, God love you, Charlie boy. You lived by your own rules, your fingers in the soil. You welcomed us into your home through good times and bad. We never will forget you, best friend we've ever had. Well, Charlie, we miss you, but your memory lives on. We won't forget the good times, the stories and the songs. Your spirit, it goes on with us, the ones who love you so. We'll take your memory with us, wherever we may go. Well, God love you, Charlie Boyle. You lived by your own rules, your fingers in the soil. You welcomed us into your home through good times and bad. We never will forget you, the best friend we've ever had. So nothing heavy, Cutter, come on in and have a beer. Sing a song, tell the tale, your friends are all here. We'll watch the game, take a toke, might pour a couple of shots. Good times at the greenhouse will never be forgot. Well, God love you, Charlie boy. You lived by your own rules, your fingers in the soil. You welcomed us into your home through good times and bad. We never will forget you, best friend we've ever had. No, we never will forget you, best friend we've ever had. So that's Charlie's song. We're going to be having a celebration of life and such for him on the 24th of this month, and I hope to be able to sing it there for the man himself. I like to say he's the sort of man that you'd know if you knew, because if you ask somebody if they know Charlie and they said, I'm not really sure, you know they didn't know. They didn't know Charlie. And if you ask them if they've been to the greenhouse and they weren't sure about that, you know they hadn't been, because you'd know if you had. It's the sort of place and the sort of man that makes a lasting impression, and on many, many people, and I'm fortunate to include myself in that. He made a very positive and lasting impression. So that just a little about Charlie Boyle right there. So that is the bulk of what I have for you today. Like I say, next week, Glenn Watt will be back, Lord willing, Lord hoping, and hopefully maybe have an extended, little extended Watt Corner session, just to get caught up with all the awesome stuff that you all have been doing and sharing with us on the Friends of CB Gitty group through the CB Gitty customer portal. Excuse me. We appreciate it very much. I appreciate it. I love seeing it. We love sharing it to help inspire others as well. So as I mentioned, tomorrow down there in Warsaw, Warsaw, Missouri, the Ozark Cigar Box Guitar Festival. Our good buddy AJ Gaither did a live broadcast earlier today. He's going to be playing there. AJ was busy working on some of his kazoos there, which we're going to actually be carrying here at CB Gitty very soon. Very happy to be working with AJ and helping, working together to get some of his fine creations out there. He's going to be playing down there in Missouri. I know a lot of other great folks are going to be. It's going to be a good show. And then later this month, unfortunately, the same day as my friend Charlie Boyle's funeral and celebration of life, August 24th is the Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival, the 10th year. It's hard to believe. I was at the first one. I've only missed one. Fortunately, this will be year 2. I'm not going to be able to make it down myself. Glenn is still hoping to be able to go, possibly with Farley, to get down there. That is the 24th, and the organizer, Jim Lewin, you've probably seen this, decided for the 10th needed to do something a little special, and he got a hold of the Guinness Book of World Records, and they're going to be trying to set a world record for the largest cigar box guitar ensemble ever in the history of the universe. Our good buddy John Bernick, Johnny Stompbox? Yes, I believe that's his nickname. He started a GoFundMe to help raise a little bit of money just to make sure that they can have enough cigar boxes on hand, because if you think about the logistics of needing 50, 60, 70, 100 cigar box guitars all at once to be played, it takes some doing. So check that out. Hoping it'll be an awesome day, even though I won't be able to be there. I believe Shane Spiel will be there in all of his glory. So representing Cigar Box Nation and the Gitty Gang and all of us. So, and then next month, September 28th, the 3rd annual Georgia International Cigar Box Guitar Festival, organized by our buddy Rusty Taylor out there. Glad to see that going on. He's got just a slew of awesome performers going to be playing down there. All of these events have pages, event pages and such here on Facebook. You can search them up and check them out, learn more, see if you can get to one of them. There's more and more good stuff happening all over the country, all over the world in relation to cigar box guitars. I, for one, am pretty darn glad to see it. So that is about the extent of what I've got for you this week. One thing that I just saw today, that there's a new builder, a new convert to the cigar box guitar obsession, cult, hobby, whatever you want to call it. Josh Durand has been posting on the Friends of CB Gitty page, and earlier he asked a question. If you notice, I know a lot of people use slide or one finger chords. I finger chord. I play chords using fingerings that we. Anyway, he asked what I play for a D chord. Have been for years. I fret the low G string at the 2nd fret, leave the middle D open, and fret the high G string at the 2nd fret. Strum that as a D chord. Now, it is actually, what I'm playing is A, D, A. So what Josh asked, drawing on a bit of chord theory and musical theory experience he has, is that actually a D, or is it like an A4 suspense? I don't even know all the fancy terms. And I shared my view that I play it as a D. It's always worked for me as a D chord, because I don't want to have to come all the way up here or do, you know, there's other things, not so much on this scale length, to do a true D major. But I tell them if it sounds good and it works, don't worry too much about what it theoretically is. You know, I don't do a lot of worrying about theory or what's theoretically correct. I just, hey, it sounds all right, so I'm gonna play it, and it's been working so far. So that's my advice. Don't get too tied up in theories and such. Oh, what am I doing? I gotta play the outro song. Thank you, as usual, to Nick Lanciano for mashing the buttons in the magical way that he does. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. And it came to you live from CB Gitty. Well, if you got yourself a box and some strings, well, guess you need a stick as well, don't you? Put them together, make them sing. You can do it. Hey, if we can do it, anybody can, right? Next week. It's Gitty. I didn't time that right. It's the Gitty Gang Show. It's the Gitty Gang Show. Say the Gitty Gang Show. Yeah, the Gitty Gang Show. Whoa, whoa. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. To think, where is that F? There it was. We'll see you next week, folks.